Welcome back to my garden diaries. My name's Leela. I don't think we've been introduced before. Maybe we have. I'm currently gardening on about 1/4 of an acre in my home in zone 7B, I think, in Virginia. It is the dead of winter. However, there are things to do. I have a lot next to my house that needs a ton of clearing, so I'm going to continue to chip away at that. I also got some native seeds and some seeds for my garden. This is the last seed order for this year. I really tried to limit the seeds that I got this year for my garden because last year I went all out and I still have a ton of seeds left. So I want to use them all up. I also want to get really good at seed saving. So I did get some native seeds that I'm really excited, and we're going to start those today. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room, and that is my tulips. I mentioned in one of my first videos that I have tulips specifically in a bulb fridge. It's not a specific type of fridge, it's just a mini fridge that I bought specifically for tulip bulbs, and I have not really touched them or addressed them or thought about them because it is a little bit overwhelming. But I've been formulating a plan and trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do with all these tulip bulbs. I have just under 1,000, which sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of tulips and the tulip game, that is nothing, like absolutely nothing. And for me, this year is all about experimentation. And yeah, that starts with the tulips. The tulips are the gateway that got me into this. I'm hoping to focus on spring flowering plants. But today I need to take out all the tulip bulbs that I have because I got them from 3 different sources. I got them from Lowe's on clearance, I got them from Johnny's Seeds, also on clearance, and I got them from Tulip World, also on clearance. Now those 3 places are not the ideal place to buy like the highest quality tulip bulbs, but I'm also not going to buy the highest quality tulip bulbs when I have literally, and this is between you and me, I've never actually touched a tulip in my life. Like I've never held a flower, a tulip flower, ever. I've only just seen them depressingly in the landscape amidst snowy slush and really thick mulch in the spring where I grew up. So the goal this year is to touch at least 1 tulip, hopefully hundreds. Other thing too is apparently there's a fungicide that tulip bulbs are treated with, so I will be wearing gloves when I do this. I think I have a plan, but I need to get out all the tulip bulbs. I need to sort them out. I need to figure out how much of each I have. Because I got my tulips from 3 different sources, that means that I have them in varying levels of chill. And essentially, every single tulip variety needs a certain amount of cool or cold treatment to bloom properly and have the biggest, longest stem. In order for all my tulips to reach their minimum chill time, they need 12 weeks. And some of them were pre-chilled when I bought them, and they're finishing their chill time with me. Other ones were not chilled at all. Some of them, as soon as I got them, I planted them outside in my garden. I planted some in a crate. So they're just all over the place, and I really need to get it together because tulip season is coming and I need to focus. So the last thing I want to say is that one of the things that excites me about gardening is like the possibilities of it. And I was thinking about my goals for the year, my garden goals. And I realized that I don't really have goals. I more just have like questions that I want to try to answer. And I feel like the only way to answer those questions is through like thorough research and gathering as much information as possible. But then at a certain point, you kind of hit the limit of like the information out there and you still have these questions. So a big part of gardening that's fun for me is the experimentation of it all. Being able to try new things. And in a way, like even if I'm growing like the most simple flower seed, like a zinnia or a sunflower, it almost feels like an experiment to me at the same time because I've never grown it and I don't know how to grow them in my garden. And every year is different and the climate is changing. So every year growing things that even you might be like so familiar with and you might think you know everything about it, they might surprise you. I mean, our climates are changing. Where we live constantly changes, like the microclimates and all that stuff. When I'm growing something I don't know or I have no idea how it's supposed to even grow, it feels like this big adventure. And so tulips at this point in time feel like this big adventure for me. And I know that people who grow them and force them, a lot of people take the tulip workshop, and there are a ton of online resources and workshops that you can pay for and learn from, and they're like done by like really good farmers and growers who know what they're talking about and really put a lot of thought and effort into those workshops. But a lot of them are kind of expensive, and I can't justify paying almost double my like mortgage for a workshop for something I don't know. So at the same time, I want to grow tulips and I want to experience trying to force them, and there is not a lot of public free information out there, which I understand why, because it's a very niche thing. So I want to just try and experiment on my own. I would say if you're someone who's watching this for whatever reason and you are a grower and you do have a business and flower farm, like, and you have the means to take the tulip workshop, it comes highly recommended. And if I had the means to, I definitely would have taken it like months ago. But yeah, I'm just having fun, basically, is the point. So if I'm doing something wrong and you have knowledge that you're willing to share, please feel free to share. But if not, I'm going to try to share as much information as I have learned for free through mostly YouTube and also, you know, researching stuff. Always in the links and the description, I try to link all my like sources, because I come from a STEM background, so like I'm in the habit of like citing my sources so that it's not like, oh, this person's just saying these things. It's like, no, I heard it from someone else, that's why I'm doing it. So I'm going to try to link all the information throughout this series and just in general on my channel of like what I'm learning and how I'm learning those things, so you can also take that information and do with it what you will. But yeah, it's just an experiment. We'll see how it goes. I think all good experiments need a really good plan, and so that was what today was about, was figuring out that plan. And yeah, I just feel excited about them. It's like, ooh, I've never grown this flower. It's gonna be fun. It's like a blind date. It's like, you know what they look like, you know who they are, you know what they like, but you haven't actually met them in person. So you're just kind of like nervous and excited, but also kind of terrified. And you don't know how it's gonna go. It could go absolutely great and it could go absolutely wrong. And you just have to show up and find out. So here's me showing up today, step one. And yeah, let's go plant some things in the garden.